but the theme is still the same. Today we're going to talk about war on white supremacy, a subject that maybe has been lost, or maybe has never been talked about properly in our communities here in London. So what we're trying to do here is start rebuilding this theme, because for us it's a central theme to our oppression, and obviously it's something that we wanna organize around. My name is Amadu Pachakote.
I am Akapuma Kolke, and we're members of pt.1 Nation.
pt.1 Nation is we're the founders of pt.1 Nation, and pt.1 Nation is a group dedicated to fighting white supremacy. pt.1 Nation is what we call our nation, because usually it's called Latin America or even the Americas. But we want to change that, because actually that name is the colonial name that was given to our continent and that was given to our people. The term Latino comes from Latin America, obviously, and our people use this name today wrongfully, obviously, because the colonizers, the white oppressors that came to our land in 1492 began to call themselves Latino to kind of give themselves a new identity, because obviously they weren't in Europe anymore. But we, the indigenous people, we were forced to use this name too. So you can see where this name doesn't talk to us, it doesn't represent who we really are. It doesn't talk about our struggle. So when we fight for Latin America, what we're doing is fighting for the white people on our continent. We are fighting for the white control on our continent. So today we're saying we're not Latin America, we're not Latino, we're not Hispanic, we're not Colombian, Bolivian, or Ecuadorian, or Chilean, or any of those countries. We're not from the United States. Those states are illegal states on our continent. So today we're saying we're Nicantlaka, we're pt.1 Nation, we're Semanawak. Semanawak is our continent, not the Americas. So yeah, you're gonna hear a presentation from our teacher, Amauta Olinteskatlipoka, and he's gonna talk about Semanawak and terms like these, Nicantlaka. Do you want to explain what Nicantlaka means?
In the Nahuatl language, which originates in what's now called Mexico, or what's now called Central America, what we call Anahuac, when the Spanish arrived on the shores of that region, they asked the people there, "Who are you?" And they replied, "Nicantlaka," because in Nahuatl it means we the people here, like we the people of this continent of the Western Hemisphere. And we use it to say we're the people of that continent, of Semanawak. We are indigenous, and like Amari was saying, we are not Latino, because Latinos are people from Southern Europe. They're the white settlers on our continent, and the label Latino it replaces our indigenous identity, and it basically takes away our right to our land, and it disconnects us completely from our ancestors. And that's one of the main messages of the pt.1 Nation, as well as decolonization, which basically means no Europeans on our continent, no European institutions on our continent, and no European ideologies or anything on our continent.
So today, obviously, we've organized this meeting with the help of our brother and sister here, Brother Likay and Sister Lela, and we're doing it not just because we want to present things to you and just talk, and we're doing this because we want to organize, we want to fight. That's why we called this event today War on White Supremacy, because we don't just want to talk about it, we want to fight it. We want to become warriors for our people and fight this white supremacist oppression that we've had for the last 521 years.
And Sister Lela will also be talking about another struggle that Africans face, which she will go into more detail obviously later. So yeah, this whole meeting is basically about learning, trying to figure out how we can organize and basically showing unity with one another as colonized people. So first we'll start with Brother Likay.
All right, Uhuru. Uhuru. I'm Kongo Likay from the Uhuru Movement, and we are in total unity with the struggles of any oppressed people for their own liberation. And while we understand the war of ideas is a very important step towards our own definition of our own selves, but we shouldn't leave out the struggle to get our land back and the controls of our lives, because otherwise, in the 60s we had what most of you now know as flag independence. Like in most African countries, we had flag independence. Like we had a new flag and the blackface in the office, and we have, people celebrating. And there's even 2 weeks ago there was, or even less, there was something called like 60 years or 50 years of AU. AU is just the African Union, and the AU is a manifestation of the failure of the last 50 years in terms of like why we say the Africanization of the administration. That's the only thing that happened from the 60s. Like the whole, because white power could not maintain itself in Africa as it used to, so they had to do a step back by giving the administration of everything in Africa to the black faces. And so the past 50 years or more of our existence is being the clear manifestation or the ruling of the white power in black faces. And now we can see in the US, this is because when we say neo-colonialism, it goes all over the place. And even if we see a blackface in the White House in the US, that's just the whole step of the change or the farce that was going on from Africa, from black faces all over Africa. Now we can see black faces even in the White House. And I won't get much of a surprise if we get blackface in Downing Street. It's just a step to pacify the, the masses of our people who are angry to real change. And to say that we also have to recognize the leader of our independence, that those who were for real independence, those who oppose just to administer the country for white power, people like Nkrumah, Lumumba, those people stood up and said, no, we want the whole thing, we want you out. And we know what happened to them. They wiped out all the independentist leadership of our struggle, from the US to Brazil. Anywhere you go where there was a struggle of our people, you will see the real independentist leaders. Because sometimes people just say, oh, let's unite, but you unite for something against something, and the only unity we are for is a unity for independence, real independence. We can't just unite on the basis of same color or same language, or that's not, we need more than that. We need to unite for independence. So our struggle is based on the people's power, because we understand that the only people or the only group of people that have no stake at betraying our country or our nation as African people is the masses of our people who have nothing to lose. Because from the 60s, what we've realized is that most of these black faces have gained wealth in terms of they have palaces in Switzerland, big fat bank accounts all over the world. You can see they own something in this new establishment. So everything they do is based on maintaining status quo. And I'd like to ask this question to most of our oppressed people, and especially African people. What would be the first reaction of an African man or woman when they see a military man, the African military? They want to run for safety. That's reality. You can ask most of our people, what would be your first reaction? African in a bush somewhere, you see a military, or somewhere you want to hide because the military or the state, we have no state. So even the armies that we see in black faces all over the African world are not ours, because those armies, for the past 50 years, we've learned something about these people. they're just there to maintain status quo, and the violence towards, because it's hard sometimes to see, well, the white man is gone, what's going on? What happened to us? Because we still have the same violence. Like from where I am from in the Congo, we have such a stage of violence where, like, even without the guns and the weapon that's used to make war on the people, now they're using rape as a way to silence or to break the spirit of resistance of the whole people. They're using rape as a tool to break up people's spirit. So that's just a statement of how dangerous. Because now, at least, when you argue, you say, okay, now it's a black face in the office. The people here say, okay, that's your problem. That's ours. We left you in the 60s. There was no such thing. They never left.